Welcome back to Madison and the GITA Lady.
All right, we are back for our next session. So just as a reminder, last time we started identifying the D in SLEDD. We talked about how that means details, and details are when you go back through your writing and you identify where you can add adjectives, adverbs, and strong verbs.
And as you can see, we did that.
Yes, we did it for adjectives, okay? So we talked about what an adjective was, what a noun was, because adjectives describe nouns. They add to the noun, right? And then we learned about verbs, and we learned about adverbs that add to the verbs, but we didn't get to practice that yet. So this entire session is going to be about verbs and how we can turn them into strong verbs, and then how we can add adverbs to the verbs, okay? Because adverbs add to the verbs. Madison, can you remind us what a verb is? Do you remember?
A verb is a person. No.
You're thinking of a noun, right? Because we did that yesterday. Yesterday's whole focus was on nouns. Do you remember what verbs were? I'll give you a hint. You ready? Verbs! Do you remember?
Action verbs.
Yes! See, I told you, these silly actions, they seem crazy, and they kind of are, but they work, right?
And here's another action verb.
Ah! I know, the craziness runs in the family. So, yes, so verbs are action words. So we're going to let Madison, can you give me the first page of your story, please?
My first page?
Yes, your first page, please. Okay, thank you. All right, we gotta be quick. We're wasting these wonderful people's time. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through Madison's story. So just like yesterday, we went through bit by bit by bit, and we identified all of the nouns in Madison's story, and we added adjectives to them. So today we're going to go through and we're going to identify the verbs. So anything that's an action word, run, talk, speak, jump, blow,
Wait,
all of those,
speak?
all of those are action words.
Okay, then one day me and my family.
No? Did anybody do anything there? Oh yeah, this is a little bit tricky because the verb here, which you're not gonna know in second grade, the linking verb was. So we're just gonna look for some really obvious verbs, okay? So Madison, look here at this sentence. I saw trees. What do you think is the verb? What's the action that's happening?
I saw.
Good. Saw. Saw is what you're doing, right? Okay. So you saw trees. Okay. So you're going to describe how you saw it. So did you quickly see it? Did you carefully see it? Did you, how would we describe?
Quickly.
You quickly saw? I quickly saw.
And turned my head away.
Ooh, trees and colorful red leaves, comma, and I turned my head away. Now I want to point out what just happened there because that was not planned. By inspiring her, by asking her a question about how she saw, a word to describe saw, it inspired her to add another detail to her sentence. This is what happens all the time when you start revising. Okay? All right, Massey, next page. It's very important to her that she gets to be the magnet person. Okay.
Hey, hands off.
Okay. We followed. Okay, what's the verb there? Followed. Okay, we followed the steep pathway. How did you follow the steep pathway? Describe it. Describe how you followed.
Unsafely.
Ooh, we unsafely.
I unsafely.
Follow the steep pathway. Me and my family, and again, those of you who are noticing that should be a grammar correction, we don't do that right now. Active family could smell the dog. We could smell. What's the action word? What are we doing? She's whispering for some reason. I don't know why she's whispering.
Or
Yeah, smelling.
smelling.
Okay, so smell. And then was is your linking verb, and we're not going to care about that right now. Okay, so we unsafely followed. How are we smelling it?
With our noses.
Right, with our noses. You're right. Can you think of an adverb? Like you could say, I'll give you some suggestions. My family could easily smell the dog poo. We could cautiously smell the dog poo. What? No. She said what does cautiously mean?
I forgot.
That's okay. You don't want to use a word you don't know what it means. We don't worry about that.
Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't
If
matter.
you take, we're not going to use it but it means that you are. If you're cautious, that means you're like weighing the situation. You're not sure if you should do it or not. You're taking all things into consideration. Let's not do that though. So, what's another word you could use for smelling? Could you easily smell it? Was it difficult to smell it?
Well, it was hard to see.
Ooh.
Because it's all covered with leaves and plants and all that stuff.
Did you find out what I just found out? I found out more details. She said, well, it was hard to see because it was covered with leaves and
sticks and
things. So my family and I'm going to have to say that but me and my family could easily smell the dog poo, but it was hard to see because it was covered in leaves and sticks. Is that what you said, Maddie?
Yes.
Okay, so once again,
and dirt.
Leaves and sticks and dirt. So once again, just by asking her, okay, how could you smell it? Was it easy? Was it hard? It just prompted her to give me more details about the story. It was gross. Next page as quickly as possible, Madison.
Come here.
Okay.
Don't touch.
All right. At one point, we passed a road. Can you pick out the verb without any help on this one? What's the thing we're doing?
Passing.
Good, Madison. We passed the road. How do we pass the road?
Cautiously.
Ooh, now see, she learned a new word, so now she's using it. Okay, I'll let you use it now because you used it right. We cautiously passed a famous road. That was so weird to hike. What's the verb?
Hike. Right
next to the road. Okay, it's so weird to. Do you want to describe hiking or do you want to move on? You don't have to. By the way, you don't have to describe every verb.
Wait. Speedily.
Ooh, she's not giving up. She's like, I got this. Speedily hike next to the road. Next page.
Now this one gets down right.
Yes, it does. A while later, we were right next to a broken down
old-time castle.
Yes. So a while later, we were. Okay, but we're not gonna talk about any of those kinds of verbs, right?
Not
okay.
yet.
Not yet. I could taste the air. What's the verb there?
Taste.
Good, Madison. She's getting this down pat. Do you see how this repetition works? At first, they're not really sure what to say. Then they're like, oh yeah, got this. Okay. How did you taste it, Madison? Not what did it taste like, but how did you taste it? I could.
Quickly.
Or to use that one. You gotta push her. You want to skip that
Options.
one? You want options? Okay, that's a great thing. So look, it's like you never seen that show where you could like phone a friend? This is kind of what she's doing, right? And I let that happen in the classroom as well. I ask a kid and I'll give them time to think. And by the way, think time is great. You just sit there and you keep your mouth shut when you're the teacher. It's really hard, but you just sit there with your mouth shut until the child says either I want help from you, I want options, I want to ask a friend for help. So she just said, I want options. Okay, so what would make sense? I could easily taste the fresh ocean-like air. I could, this is a hard one. Oh, I wish there was a comment section right now and this was live, but it's not live. I'm gonna have to do more live videos so you guys can help us. Now, the way that I'm having trouble, and she's having trouble though, do you know what I think we should do? Skip it. And that's okay. Every single verb does not need to have an adverb, okay?
Wait.
Let's keep going.
No.
Okay. I'm going to find a verb. Okay, can we go back to it at the end? Because we're running out of time.
Wait.
We're going to have to close our session.
Twinkly.
We'll find a place that would work. Okay, the castle looked like a war base. I could twinkly taste the air? That does not work. That does not. I'm going to veto that. Mama's going to veto that. Okay, the castle looked like a war base. It was tall with walls that were broken and curved. It was made of stone with a bit of wood. It was gray and brown. No obvious action words that we need to help there. Next page, Madison. We gotta move super fast now so that we can keep up. Okay. I went in the cold water and I accidentally got some water in my mouth. It tasted like salt water. Okay. We're gonna use this verb right here. I went in the water. That's boring. That's not an exciting verb. We need a vivid verb. So Madison, can we have a better word besides I went in the water? Did you jump in the water? Did you plunge into the water? Did you sink or slip into the water?
I slipped.
Ah, the truth comes out. She slipped, people. Okay. Now, do you see how much more vivid in your mind it is? You can picture Madison slipping into the water. I slipped into the water and I accidentally got some water in my mouth. It tasted like salt water. Okay. Keeping to go here. We're going to find the most obvious verbs we can do in a quick amount of time. I played on the rocks and played in the sand. Okay. What's a way you can describe how you played on the rocks, Madison?
Unsafely.
Ooh, she said she safely.
Unsafely.
Oh, unsafely. Okay. Played on the rocks and played in the sand. We don't want to use played again. Can we think of a different verb in the sand? What did you do?
Fun.
And had fun in the sand? But we don't want to repeat played again. Okay. She could have said dug in the sand. She could have said anything else. Okay. Had fun in the sand. We built a sandcastle. Madison, can you describe built for me? How did you build it? What do you think? You want options? Okay. We creatively built a sandcastle. We hurriedly, slowly, carefully.
Ooh.
Yeah.
First one.
Well, I don't remember what I said first. Ah, creatively. Okay. We creatively built a sandcastle and a sand pie. The sandcastle was a big pile of sand with sticks and pretty leaves. The sand pile was flat and rounded on top. Next page. And what's really important here is we don't get out of order, Maddie. Okay. All right, here we go. Then I saw rocks and beautiful waterfalls. I could hear the waves crashing into the rocks and waterfalls crashing down. Okay, so I know I'm being fast now and I'm doing it, not her, but that's because we're trying to get this video going for you guys. I know that last one was super long. I'm trying not to make that happen again. If you made it through the last one, you're a real trooper and you deserve like 6 gold stars on your chart. Okay. All right. I saw rocks, Madison. How did I see the rocks? Then I suddenly saw. I carefully saw. Immediately saw. Immediately. Then I immediately saw bumpy rocks and beautiful waterfalls. I could clearly hear. What kind of hear do you want, Madison? Can you put that down for me? It says I could hear the waves. I could clearly hear. I could faintly hear. I could almost hear. I could totally hear.
Totally hear.
I could totally hear the small waves crashing into the large rocks and the waterfalls crashing down. They were crashing down. We got this crashing here. Can we not be crashing again? I could hear the waves crashing into the rocks and the waterfalls crashing down. Can we change? We're going to leave this one. Can we change this one?
We can change it to riftly.
Rifting? Okay, the waterfall's rifting. What does that mean? I have no clue. Sometimes that's okay. We use words and we've heard them used by our awesome parents or teachers or in books that we feel like it would work or it doesn't. Let's pick another word that we're sure we know the meaning of, okay? It's okay.
No.
This is a rough job.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, follow the rules, Madison. So the waterfalls, were they plummeting? Do you know what plummet means?
Nope. 2nd
grade. I gotta take it down a notch. Okay, the waterfalls were trickling down, pouring down.
Pouring.
Oh, now we're talking.
There's a bee in here.
Pouring down. Just bite it. Okay, last page, and then we're done. When we were, what my dad used to say. When we were heading back, okay, we heard people skipping and cracking. Oh, all kinds of verbs here, Madison. Okay, when we were heading back, how were we heading back?
Slowly.
Oh, we were slowly. We didn't really want to leave, did we?
No.
We were slowly heading back. We heard Did we clearly hear these people? Did we?
Faintly.
Ooh, faintly. We faintly heard hikers skipping and cracking. Can we describe how they were skipping? Options, okay. Hikers were happily skipping, joyfully skipping, joyfully skipping, and cracking small sticks. And leaves, yeah. But how are they cracking them? And quickly, easily,
and savagely.
Oh, look at that! See, sometimes they pull words out of nowhere and they're amazing. Okay, savagely. Oh, see, she might have a little savage deep down in there. I just found. Okay, all right, Madison, heads up. Okay, so what we just did is so here's our original story, and you're just gonna lose your mind when you see how it changes at the end. But so now we have done so far, just to review really quickly, when we look at SLEDD, okay? Sensory language, events stay the same, details, and dialogue. So we have done the sensory language. We made sure our events stayed the same in our story as we revised.
And we did that.
What's that called? Details. We just did the details. Adjectives, adverbs, and strong verbs. So our next session, circle this. Our next session and final session will be, actually it's not our final session because we're going to talk about dialogue. Then we'll put it all together and we'll revise and edit. And I'll teach you how to revise and edit from home. Some really cool stuff for second and third graders. So next time we add dialogue, we'll see you back then. Bye! Bye!